proposition, how to do it well. Just stand back a bit, because what it's all about is, your relationship between price is pretty complex. This morning I asked a question about what is price for, and a number of people came up with different things. One was about, well, price sets my reputation in the market. It really positions me in customers' eyes compared to my peers. And yes, it does. Somebody else said, well, price relates to profit. And yes, it does indeed, because the amount that you charge obviously relates directly to the amount of profit that you create. So there are a number of angles on why price matters. The way customers perceive you will be affected by your pricing. This relationship isn't difficult. If you master those issues, you'll know any plans you've got about how you run your business and how you might be looking to change or affect prices will be sensible and coherent. And as we saw from this morning, especially if you've done the retail price comparison, you can really target promotions. You can find out where you've got opportunities to exploit gaps in pricing between what you charge and big guys charge. You can take that to the market and really have a strong message. I want to talk about this thing called value for a little while. A great place to see value really play out is if you go to an auction. And it doesn't have to be a fine art auction, because people buy second-hand cars, people buy houses, they buy slums. I've been seeing on TV lately there's even unclaimed baggage from aircraft. People pay for all kinds of things, and auctions sell all kinds of things. And one thing that you see happening in all of these different contexts, whether it's fine art through to broken pieces of baggage, there's bidding going on, and prices going up, and people pulling out. Why are they pulling out? They're pulling out because they don't believe what they're about to buy is worth paying any more for, whereas other people do. And an auction really, really demonstrates and brings into stark reality what value is all about. Different people value things in different ways. Different people see value in different things in different ways. And it's definitely, it exists, it's real. Now, there's another way of looking at value. I don't know whether you've seen this before, but I always like it. I think it's quite amusing. Good service cheap won't be fast. Good service fast won't be cheap. And fast service cheap won't be good. I think those statements, shame's not a better graphic anyway, I think those statements really encapsulate this whole idea of what value is all about. Yeah, good customers don't want cheap. And neither do you really. From your perspective, is it right that your prices would be lower than somebody that you consider to be a calc? Should you charge less than them? Exactly. And by the same token, should you cost more than people that you would consider better than you? And what would they think about that? Because really it's the same thing, just from a different perspective. The issue is about being clear on what your value is and being able to articulate it convincingly to others. We'll be looking at that in a lot more detail later in this session and also in the next one. Because that's the bit I think where it gets a bit difficult. How do I explain I'm better qualified? How do I do that in a way that people would actually warm to rather than me just seeming like I'm boasting? Yeah, if customers complain about the price, do they really understand the value? I've never visited you before. If I didn't know that you were possibly a really good IT retailer. Great customer support, tremendous pre-sales advice, thriving newsletter. And I come into your shop and I pick up my dear friend here that I keep using as an example, and I see that's £25. And I think, it's gone up. Yeah, it has gone up. And I think, that's a bit steep. That's a bit steep. Yeah? Well, maybe I don't understand why you're charging £25 for it. Maybe the bit that it's gone up is the fact that, well, in actual fact, I take this out of the box before you get it and I test it to make sure. Yeah, everyone sees things differently. If prices fairly represent your whole value, objections don't have to be about the fact that the price is wrong. People just don't understand why it costs what it does. The other way to look at this is a bit about the chimps and gremlins that I spoke about in the last session. Price objections are normal. It happens all the time. But the problem is that two things are going on. They make us feel a bit wrong. When in actual fact all it is somebody just taking a chance. Can you knock it down a bit for me? Because I'd rather pay a bit less. Don't let them get to you. This is managing and controlling those chimps and gremlins, the stuff that the British cycling team do. It's all just part of the banter. You can't always be the cheapest. It's absolutely impossible. Someone will be cheaper than you. All they've got to do is drop their price. Yeah? That's all they have to do. The price competition isn't about always being cheaper. If you want to play the game that way, all you need to do is be cheaper on, better on around half your range, because overall you are. Cheaper on more than half your range, you're cheaper overall. But expect that to change, because it won't go unnoticed, and whoever it is you're competing against will reply. And things like this are normal. It's normal for price competition to work like this. But I would say, is that actually the way we want to run a business at all anyway? I don't think it is. Come on to that a bit later. Who was here last year? Does anyone remember Angry Baby? Yeah? He's back. He's back. And he wants to make sure that you're really listening. Because what he's got to say is that if price is your USP, as I have had quoted to me in the past, then expect to be disappointed because someone's going to beat you on it. Yeah? It can never be a proper, it's not a proper USP in the first place. So, thank you, Angry Baby. A low price reputation will destroy you. If you think about it, being the cheapest is just completely incompatible with everything that you stand for. Yeah? On the one hand, professional expert, offering independent advice and guidance to people, willing to help and train, all those good things, wants to go the extra mile, and yet, cheap as chips, doesn't add up. People are quite prepared to pay for things if they feel they're better. This morning I spoke about the example, buying a book on Amazon. Yeah? Amazon doesn't say to you, do you want it tomorrow? Tell you what, you can have it tomorrow, there's no difference in price. Yeah? Amazon charges for it. In other words, if it's better, and better in that context is getting it tomorrow, you expect to pay a better price, you expect to pay more for it. It's easy to scare customers through price. The people who have not yet met you, who have talked to people that you have worked for, who tell them, yes, he fixed my such and such, changed my drive, and it cost 150 quid. Oh, what? 150 pounds? There's no way I'm going there. Yeah? Price can easily scare people off, and you'll never even get to know about it. So, if you seek price aggressive customers, you're going to find them, because they're always on the lookout for a bargain. Yeah? Part of what makes them tick is searching out the best price. And you'll get their infidelity, yeah? Because if it's not you they're with, they'll be with anybody, yeah? Who's making the best offer. And they're carpet, because they'll all be moaning as well. Oh, yeah, your prices are better than both you and your customers think. How can I say that? I can say it with quite a lot of certainty. Remember this? This is the results of the price survey from this morning. Yeah? In all cases, across all major competitors, your basket is cheaper. Okay? Your basket is better priced than they are. Yet, and remember I spoke about the shopping preference surveys that I do, unprompted, so this wasn't an answer that they could select, this was an answer that they gave freely. Yeah? 23% of those people, when asked what would make you use independent retailers more than you do now, said, yeah, I would do if they were more price competitive. Doesn't add up, does it? Doesn't add up. And the reason it doesn't add up is because these big guys are masters of illusion. Yeah? This is all about the use of a loss leader. This is all about them setting the agenda, picking products that they're going to sell below cost, promoting the hell out of them. Yeah? Remember the last presentation I talked to you about the average margin markup. We know for Macklin's is 100%. We've got anecdotal evidence that says B&Q is 80%. They're making that money back in other ways. In other words, all the peripherals that they sell are way overpriced. We know that, we can evidence that, we all know that through cables, don't we? PC World, for example. Yeah? It's happening in other places too. It's happening in other ways too. They do have no purchase. Look at Macklin's as an example. You take their total cost, so this isn't employment cost I'm talking about here. This is looking at the complete cost of the business, and you divide that cost by the number of employees. Every employee in that business needs to earn it £41,000 a year for it to break even. That's a huge amount of cost. It's a huge amount of cost. And the only way they can get that back is by having a very large markup. Yeah? That 100% and 80% figure. We know, if you go into a co-op, I've got this actually from a co-op, what they're charging for Duracells versus what we sell them at. You're marking them up at 300+%, 400+%. I found out I did some work on the internet. Yeah? Milk, there's no money in milk. Well, there isn't for farmers. Yeah? There isn't for farmers. The bulk actually of the money in milk goes to the milk processors. But look how much the supermarkets are making off the back of milk. A staple that supposedly there's no money in. Yeah? These large businesses are really clawing back their overheads massively in all kinds of ways. We know no one's making a killing in the tech chain. Genuinely, no one is buying anything that much cheaper than you're getting it at. So, just thinking a little bit about the truth about their cost advantage. Let's say you buy, I don't know, one of, get back to this again, it's a pretty good friend this, isn't it? Let's say now costs £100. It's getting pretty good this, isn't it? Let's say it costs £100. But through their purchasing power, the big chains buy them for 10% less. Let's assume Maplin, mark it up 100%. How much can you mark up by and still price match?
90.
90. That's £90. It's actually 80% as a markup figure. How many people in this room are marking up their products 80%?
Well, cables.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7%.
And yeah, because their markup on cables is in the thousands, on average. 80% to match Maplin. What about B&Q, who are only marking, well, that's anecdotal, but they're only marking up 80%. Let's say they also buy at 10% less than you, but they mark up 80%. You're up 62%. That's still price match. Again, it's marking up 62%. Maybe some more of you, but certainly not everybody. Okay? So these are margin greedy businesses, exceptionally margin greedy businesses that are clawing back money from the consumer, left, right, and centre. Okay, low prices give money away. Yeah, this was the chart from this morning which showed about how discounting works with sales break even. Yeah? And in here, what this is showing is if you're selling 7% less than you could by just being reasonably priced for the rest of your peers, you've got to sell nearly half as much again. The point we made this morning was about even 3% of what you could charge. You're settling the business with 15% more volume every single day, just by not being priced a little bit more. So discounting murders profits, it really does. Knocking 10% off sounds so innocent, doesn't it? But then, and it delivers really marginal sales. In the retail price comparison workshop this morning, I spoke about one of the really interesting findings that we've got, which is the nature of how price and volume work across the range, where you might expect a relationship along those lines, where price and sales vary fairly evenly. What we've got here is something that says in actual fact it's really flat. We talked about the fact that that's down to the fact that IT is not a commodity. Yeah? Customers need advice and guidance. They're looking for a trusted source of unbiased guidance so that they know when they make their purchasing decision, it is the right one. You've got something I want. Yeah? But how do you stem? How do you take them on? You've got things that they would honestly kill for. Yeah? There's certain things about your business that make you utterly unique. Certain things that these are your genuine sources of competitive advantage. Okay? These are the things on which you should be marketing and selling your business because they can't compete with you. You know what they are, you can read them for yourself. But they honestly would kill for them. And it's all real, this stuff. It's genuinely real. There's a sizable portion of the market that wants to buy and shop local, that does care about local independent businesses. It's real. This exists. Again, from the shopping preference surveys that I've done with customers, 80% would prefer to buy from you. When asked which would they prefer, shopping from a big chain or a local independent retailer, 80% said that's what they prefer to do. We've done these. Yeah, 90% believe that you're more important to the local community. Your challenge is showing that, you care about the local community. That becomes your marketing challenge. What can I do that shows that I'm interested in those things? And it's not by the customers you already know. You've got to do this in a way that so people who have never yet met you can make that assessment. And that becomes quite interesting when you think about that. It's possible to do. So, here's some examples about how you might do that. Yeah? Use it, don't lose it, as I say. Support local independent retailers. A poster in your window. An icon on your website. Something at the bottom of an email. Yeah? Poster inside your shop. Play to people's minds. Or do things like that. Advertise the fact that you are an independent computer specialist. You're not selling them. The product is you. That's what you're selling. Yeah? In fact, this is doing a number of things. It's proclaiming your independence. Yeah? I don't work for a big chain. I'm not motivated by sales. I don't receive a sales bonus for how much I sell you. I'm entirely independent. If you come to me, what I'll recommend to you is what's best for you. So that's my independent side of it. But look what's going on down here. Yeah? I'm an expert. I'm calling myself a computer repair specialist. If you want to come and talk to me about that, I'll explain to you why. Qualifications, the experience of it, and so on. And when it comes to the big multiples, it's not you that can. It's not you that can't compete with them. Yeah. It's that they can't with you. What does that mean? Well, let's think about this. If you would stick some of the examples I've given previously around why pay more for batteries or cables rip-off, examples in a shop window. There's nothing in there that's untrue. There's actually no basis for any legal challenge. So nobody's going to do anything. Nobody will take you to task on that. Besides, listen to the TV. Listen to what Asda says about Sainsbury's. Yeah? The big guys are doing it all the time. Providing they're telling the truth, there's nothing legal about it. All it is telling customers what's real. That's all there is to it. And you can do the same. It's all that I'm asking you to do, is find the opportunities where you can tell customers the truth. And besides, even if they did, whose side is the public on? Yeah? Whose side is the public on? Them, the big guys, or you? A few nods. Public sentiment's far more involved. We've proved it through our shopping surveys. But the stuff that Mary Portas does, the demise of the high street. People are concerned about local independence. And here's the real cruncher for this, because they aren't set up to be able to actually respond either. They're not, an individual PC world is not set up like a profit centre. It's not a mini business in its own right. The manager is not a managing director with a sales and marketing function, with a new product development function. They're not running it like a business. The manager in the store makes sure it opens on time, makes sure it's clean, that enough staff are on site, and that the products are being stocked on the shelves. That's what managing a department store, or PC world, or even a supermarket, that's what they do. So if you actually mount a local marketing campaign that points out prices are perhaps not as good as they should be at any of these, they are utterly powerless to respond. Utterly powerless to respond. Which makes them a good target to go after, rather than each other, who can respond.